Wow. I'm just like in awe because I just listened to a reading from Natija. I don't know her last name, but she just started rambling off, like describing down to a T, like the circumstance that I'm in with somebody and the circumstance they're in with somebody. I mean, like that's like a chain of relationships, and she just is like nailing it. But what's interesting about it is that I don't know. She's so, yeah, like I think it's a prophetic thing that she didn't tell me what decision to make. So that was really interesting. I kind of need to go back and listen to the advice surrounding the story because I was just so in like freaking awe that she was describing, like it made me literally sit up off the floor and like, does she know the story? Even though I know that she does not. There's no way. She lives in New York and I'm in Oregon and we don't know each other. So she's just very on point. But okay, what else was I going to say? But she also, I just think that's really interesting. Like she didn't come right out and say, I don't remember her coming right out and saying like, yes, this or no, this, which is so beautiful because it allows you and requires you to inquire for yourself, with spirit. So that's always wonderful because we don't want to get lazy with it, right? Oh, this is a word. Okay. We don't want to get lazy with our own intuition. And yeah, this actually is really relevant because I started noticing that with like myself. It can kind of become like candy to just hear people read about your life all day and try and match the puzzle pieces instead of actually going and just spending that quiet stillness time, inquiring, listening for yourself. And for those of us that are like moms or parents, and especially if you're in a low vibe relationship, making the time and space to do that can almost disappear because of just kids and like a spouse that maybe that doesn't get it, like, and doesn't, or just refuses to help protect your time, just won't participate. Like what a freaking, can we just call that what it is right there? Anyway, carrying on. But yeah, it's so crucial to tune in for yourself. And then here's the other real talk about it is what about for those of us that have been through so many experiences, like the approach isn't the same anymore. It's like, it's just different now and comes with context. It comes with lessons. It probably comes with wounding too. Like I'm not saying it's completely accurate or always, but because the wounding can kind of knock you off your square of understanding. It's just like maybe that's what they call it when they're like working out your salvation, like having to deal with things that you didn't expect to find out. Like you don't you don't know what you don't know is like there's really no truer statement than that. And then when you learn some things, it's like, wait, what? The shock alone will like totally take somebody off their square. And that's why, let me just say right now, it is a literal, divinely appointed, and only through the elixir of life, only through the elixir, the spiritual elixir of life that like fuels my timeline. That is the only way that I am here right now and still like of sound mind. I do not take like prescription medication. There was a time that I did, but I don't now. And the fact that I've come through the things, hey, by the way, huge disclaimer, not that every prescription medication is bad or wrong or like, because that's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is like, I'm a witness to some miracles, that have happened and that are also permanent, you know, they're not just like they're like not just this like one moment thing and then it goes away. Like, so anyway, I just invite the spirit, that that whole fueling one, I'm inviting that one to come and share whatever, because that's really what matters. But the point is, so yeah, when I was talking about the timeline of being like finding out something and being like, wait, what? You know, like talk about 2020, talk about when like I was totally, I don't want to assign blame, I guess. How about just like that I was for sure led into a relationship, like for me, the most relationship of my life, into a marriage. Like it meant something to me. Like I was 33 and I was led into this, like, and that's the part that still boggles my mind, and it's really hard for me to accept that on my human level, but my divine self has been told and confirmed, and it's like my divine self can believe it and can wrap her head around it, but like my current self cannot. It's still like really, it's like grasping to be like, wait, we actually like signed off on that, like who? Like, oh, I signed off on that. Like, you know, like there's a lot of dealing that has to come with even that. Like, even like just saying like, oh, and by the way, I know I'm saying like this thing is brought to you by Flower and Fire. Okay. So this moment is brought to you by the good old herb plus the flame, just the OG style, not like anything fancy of the modern world. Okay. So anyway, what am I telling you? So when you're like, wait, what? 2020 is one of them. Next one, getting led into a marriage with like literally the worst candidate on paper that there was, you know? And being led into that and being like, are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? Like 1,000 times. Because it's like, this doesn't seem like a good idea, like literally, you know? And then there's parts of me where it's like, well, that was your sign. But what's crazy, you all, is I'm not saying that I did the right thing. I'm not saying I did the right thing, but what I'm saying is that my path involved that experience for a reason. Like it will produce something that is beneficial for the overall up-leveling of humanity, for bringing light to the world. Like that was a really, really dark situation, you know, like, and it had to be dark for that particular story to be told, I guess. I don't know. I'm totally just vibing and flowing with this right now. But anywho's, you still get to the other side of all that and you're like, wait, what? Like that one was like, I feel so betrayed, like the lover of my soul, you're the lover of my soul, you're the lover of my soul. Anywho, that is not at all the melody, but that was really pretty what just came through. That was not the melody of the song that I was going for, but Holy Spirit just brought us that beautiful other song. So, anywho, going through that and like having the most important, first of all, relationship aside from the spirit one, the most important like flesh relationship, in my opinion, you know, because it's like, you're making this investment, this grand investment to like do family together. I had such an appreciation and a like desire for that, like to have like somebody stay with me on the path this time. I had been bouncing around, like that's my own like concoction of life experiences, what that produced, you know, through me. And part of it was just love for adventure. Part of it was like legit belief and trust in freedom. Part of it was also like running, running from so many different things. So yeah, it was a myriad of like experiences from various angles of cause and effect. But yeah, there's sometimes where life is just like makes you go, wait, what? Because you just can't fathom that's happening, that's possible, that's true. But we have to remember that for every hopeless possibility that we're like, how the hell is that possible to like for it to get this bad, you know? Because I've been there. It's like, how many more things can go wrong? Like, that had to be the last one. And then boom, another one. And then you're like, okay, like I have never had so many things go wrong in my life. Like that has to be the last one. We have got to be out of the storm. And then boom, another one. Because of people's choices, because of person's choice, the one that you were led into the thing with. And then I'm like, you're letting this go down? And my children, excuse me, the girl that wrote the like dear baby letters freaking 8 years even before getting married or more, I don't remember what year it was, but like writing a letter to my baby about how I'm choosing the man like for them, like how I am choosing, your daddy is a warrior, you know, and like I'm so it was like that big of a deal to me. And you know, one school of thought, totally different one than the one that I grew up in, but this idea of like that the goal of life, of creation, is to like keep things in balance. And so if you put something way too much on a pedestal, that it will remove it or like demote it or however, whatever, to restore balance in your life and to make you realize that nothing is like, how do we explain that? That nothing is like above you, maintaining your peace and trust and surrender. Like, I don't know if that's a good way to explain it. But anywho, what else? Like for me to have found myself again too, by the way, through so many moves, kids, divorce, like being stolen from, like in a real bad kind of way, being abandoned by family, like you're like, I don't even want to say who, like the male person who contributed to my like coming here. And by the way, like, that doesn't have to rob you constantly of your identity, because it's like imperfect people are imperfect people, and that's all of us, you know? So like, don't let an imperfect person rob you forever of your sense of identity or worth. Do not put that based on an imperfect person's actions or whatever, because like maybe they just didn't have things that they needed, and therefore you weren't given the things that they didn't have because they didn't have them. So it's like, man, I have this like empathy for that. But at the same time, I also have this thing where it's like, but that was like super bleeped up what you did. And there's no excuse. There's no excuse for it. Like, it's unacceptable to own 3 to 5 boats and also evict your daughter and her 2 children under 2 years old, one of them being an infant. Like there's a whole lot of different things that could be done without that being the thing, you know? Okay, so anyway, I am so done talking about that. Let's never talk about it again, because it's literally not worth my breath, because where I am going is so far away from that place. And guess what is so beautiful about that whole thing going is, yeah, it was extremely painful. It was extremely hurtful, but I got to find out exactly who everybody was all in one fell swoop. And it was like, oh, you know what that does for your fucking intuition? Do you know what that does? When you get, like, when you find, you get the freaking explanation about a bunch of things, or the confirmation, I guess you could say. Yeah, the fact that I'm like back to myself, being myself, flowing again, is a miracle. And you know, I hate on religion a lot because I fucking see the fucking thievery of it, and I can't stand that shit. Like, I don't know if there's anything that gets me riled up like stealing the children's wisdom and like subsequently making them suffer and making them fail and like poisoning their bodies in a way that it produces dependency on these chemicals, creating this cash cow cycle, literally poisoning people. Maybe it's not so bad at first, you know, because it's like little doses, but it's like over time, we wonder why people are doing so bad, especially the elderly. Not all of them, obviously. The ones that stay fit and active and like using their minds and probably not taking hella pharmaceuticals. By the way, once again, disclaimer, I am not saying that all pharmaceuticals are bad. I'm saying that I believe they're overused, and they're overused at the cost of learning and teaching other solutions that are actually less dangerous because they're natural options. Now, sometimes like we need that quick intervention. Sometimes it's necessary, and it's a beautiful, luxurious thing that we have that. Like, we are living in some freaking amazing times because of the advancements of science and technology that allow for some of these most miraculous, like little microscopic surgeries, you know, and just like I have such a high regard for that, and I don't want to ever like get lost in translation when I try and say something just for the sake of making it like be fast, you know. But sometimes things need to be said. So I have so much respect and gratitude, and I feel like royalty that we have those kinds of action or possibilities, options is what I was saying. And I was thinking about like, think about, you know, 100 years ago, 200 years ago, think about how crazy fast we have quantum leaped into crazy dimensions of technology that were not a thing just not that long ago. Like, we as a society have quantum leaped into freaking technology, like vortex. And really it's all just because we're learning about what the creator did here. Like, that's it. Like, so the creator created a computer system with zeros and ones, and that's like the matrix that we live in. So we did that. Like, we're all just such copycats of the creator, which is beautiful, because every single one of us is like a sliver of the expression of the totality of the creator. And that's why I love seeing people be their true selves, even no matter what it is. Like, you just got to be your true self, because your true self will not perpetuate hatred or wounding. Like, you know, we're all still human. We might make mistakes and stuff, but your truest divine identity, it's not going to look like everybody looks the same, like you know, like a communist country that has their military people where they're all just like lockstep. Like, it's not that. This is like every tribe, every nation. Do you know what that means? Every tribe, every nation. That means every religion. That means some tarot readers. That means like Muslim. That means everybody. I'm like, I can't even think of all these labels. Like, what are they for? that means that the Spirit of truth is going to infiltrate and illuminate every single people group. You can no longer live like the Jews did, where they think only if you're this particular people group can the Savior come through you, right? Get it? Like, because guess what happened is they didn't recognize him because he was acting so inclusive of women, of different tribes that are like, the trash, kind of like, how we like say things like that about, people groups. And it's like, no, and that's where, this is why, full circle back to the whole, I feel like I hate on religion, but what I was going to say there is that the way that I found my way back to myself, wow, I just went on the weirdest tangent. I'm just flowing, but it's funny because I notice those things too while I'm going. Anyway, so the way that I got here is through praying, like my praying Christian probably, and like they're not all still defining themselves in that way, because it's like when you learn some things then you're like, I don't know how this all, So, but they know, it's just like, how do you quantify this when everybody has a different experience with that label right there? And like, depending on what experience they have, it's like, I kind of want them to know I've had that experience too, but this is still my root system, that's kind of how I explain it. So anywho, I just have to say thank you to every praying one of my friends, regardless of what like background. But praying people speaking life it's a step in the right direction, and praying and speaking life over yourself is the like cha-ching of the revelation. Figuring out how to like literally write your timeline and declare it over yourself and visualize it, experience it before it comes. Like the whole idea, this is another thing about religion, like maybe somebody can start a list, because I will tell you the reasons that my qualms with it. This is one of the qualms with it that I have, is that they so much oversell saving the other, but very little to no time really actually teaching the universal principles of how to speak your divine timeline into being. And I'm like, do they just not know? Is this a new freaking what's that word? Dispensation? Like, is this a new dispensation? And I'm pissed as hell because I'm like, what? But no, it's not a new dispensation, because this knowledge is out there. We were just told it's bad, so we were like, don't go reading that, and it's like, how the hell did we allow some man to tell us what we could and couldn't read? Like, wait, what? I have my own mind, and it's set, it is even written that the Spirit will be my teacher. So like, I can read anything, and I will allow the spirit of my intuition to tell me like, nope, or yes, like this, you need it, and also it's all about like, chew the meat, spit the bones. Juliana, love you, girl. But yeah. She's one of those people that like has spoken to my path, like I think we are just like divine soul sisters there, and by going through the craziest transition of all, of both of us awakening to the hidden like, what's that word, like the hidden traps, I guess, within religion that are like keeping people tripped up or just like robbed of revelation. It's like why are we studying what the Hebrew, like Leviticus laws, like why are we studying that when that is not relevant to our timeline at all right now? And maybe some people are assigned to study that and you go you. But like, I'm talking like big picture community. It's like, why aren't we studying the universal laws of how to utilize your vessel to make it work right? It's kind of like having this mechanical something. It's funny, I didn't even like confirm that this was recording, but I think it is. Anyway, it's like having this like mechanical machine that is really multifaceted and functional and not taking the time at all to learn it at all. It's kind of like if you get a new car and you just don't take the time to read the manual, you know, so you like don't really know how to, maybe it has all these additional features and options, but you've never taken the time to learn it, so you don't know how to use it. So it's like your car is still driving around, but it's like you're not getting the most out of it. I mean, that's kind of an analogy of this. But like, can I just say like this one's way more important than just having some features. It's like, it's literally going to shape the future and can literally change the past when you learn how to utilize it. Like the divine essence of the elixir of glory is, what's the word? It's above time. It's above time. It's outside of time. So what that means is just like it actually enters time, and it enters time all at once. So there's no backwards, forwards. Like it's not that we can only impact the future, we can impact the past. But here's the thing is I have that revelation, but I don't fully understand it yet. Like, what I mean by that is I don't fully understand how to apply it. So then I'm like, okay, well, so am I supposed to like go back in time and what do I pray for? Do I pray that I never met my husband? But I don't want to pray that because like I love my babies, you know, like how could I ever imagine something different? Plus I was confirmed that I was led into this, which, you know, that didn't bring me like this amazing abundant peace. It actually like really hurt me even worse, you know? It's like, wait, I thought that was just my mistake. You're saying like, you know, like you knew that was going to happen, and you know what I'm saying? Like that fucking cuts deep. But yeah, there's another one right there is like the path is different than this, like, at least how I perceived it, than the story that religion kind of presents. 'Cause it's like, how would like, why, if it's finished and everything, like, why would he make me go through all that? If just he's my beloved husband and he's just here to take care of me, you know, like, well, and if he did it, like, why does that have to happen? And you know what brought a lot more meaning to that is to find out, like, or to be reminded, and maybe once again, maybe some people have different experiences than I do in terms of what they were raised believing and like how it was conveyed. But the point is, once I kind of learned like and started seeing this from the perspective of we're all here, we're here to actually do something. Part of that also is just learning, leveling up, like gaining wisdom, going through experiences that actually mold, teach, prepare, strengthen. Like, so not every experience boils down to like, did you mess up or not? You know, that's another thing. Like, and once again, that could be being raised with some like narcissism tendencies in my upbringing by people around me. So some of this stuff too, I'm like, I perceive it through religion because I can see so many of the principles that don't mean that, but they affirm it, if that makes sense. That's not what they mean, because they're hoping they're speaking to healed people who would never or do they? Like, or do they really? Anyway, I'm going on. I think we're backing out of that right now. Anyway, let's just talk about the amazing things that are headed our way. Right before I got on here, I was having just this crazy revelation umbrella, light bulb kind of moment. Umbrella. That's not an accident. That's significant to somebody. But anyway, I was having that moment and being like, what? And I was just, and it was reminding me to affirm, like, out loud, for the record, like, I do not choose to settle in anything. Like, I might be confused, I might be impatient, I might be wore out, but like, for the record, don't let me settle for anything, because I did not come this far. I did not fucking bounce back from the ashes of my own hell, as Christina from Quantum 369. I hope I'm remembering your name right. Quantum 369. Great book. Love that book. It's like a journal, but it's also a book. And anyway, her posts are so fire. They're just so fire. You should follow her for sure on Instagram. And I don't really know where else she is. We don't know each other. I'm just telling you as a vote, because her posts are really fire. And but yeah, I did not raise myself up out of the ashes of my own hell like several times over to settle for anything less than the highest timeline, you know? And there's somebody that I want to go with me, but I've learned, like, you can't fucking make somebody go, you know? Like, if I could make somebody go, I would have made my husband go and stay. But he went with his chemical lover, you know? And like, that's been this weird consistent thing in my life. But not anymore. Anyway, how long has this been? 31. We're going to take it for another 8. I feel like these ones end up being 40 minutes, and like, that's probably a good amount of time. Hey, you guys, let me know. Anybody that actually listens to this, let me know how long these should be. Like, what works best for you. These are going to be like the Flower and Fire podcast type audios. Not all of them will be like this, but these ones where we just like let spirit flow through it. So anyway, back to praying things, like declaring things. By the way, it's sometimes a question, but it's not always a question. I remember jumping out of the shower when I was married still, and running to him and being like, I just got this. It's always in the water, by the way. Well, not always, but I have a lot of revelations in the water. Like a lot, like almost, it's like I get revelations everywhere, but it's almost like, I can count on it. Anyway, so I'm curious about that. What do you think that is? Because I'm Pisces rising, Aries sun, and Leo moon. So maybe it's the Pisces. Anyway, okay. Really interesting. So what I was saying is, I remember jumping out of the shower and saying, because I'd just gotten this really clear download, and it was like, when you're speaking to, how can I say this? Like polluted spirits or spirit of pollution, either way, when you're speaking to that, you command, like, because you have authority over that. And then the next one was when you are declaring out of promises that are your portion, you declare, like, order up. Because it's like, I'm not asking for this because this is part of the benefits package of being the badass divine one on the team that is eternally glorious, So it's like, there's a benefits package, and it's like, there's things in there that come with you, or come for you, or like, they're automatic. And like, this is why it freaking matters to learn how to order that up. Like, there's actually a process. This is not as cut and dry maybe as you've been told. So it's important to like learn that. Anyway, maybe I'm getting tired, so I think I might cut this off pretty soon here. But stay tuned, because this is what we'll be talking about, all this stuff. Whatever the spirit wants to talk about is what we talk about. And oh, the last part. I didn't even say the last part. And then it was like, but when you're asking for something like kind of like above and beyond, what's already like, for sure, the standard, then it's like, then you can ask. Like today I'm asking for that extra 10K. Today I'm asking for that amazing like wink from you that reminds me that you're here with me, like of the divine backup that I have. What else should we ask? We can ask for the miraculous up-leveling within ourselves to allow us to like boom, get to the high, be and reside on the highest timeline. But wow. Okay. So we can ask for the miracle according to the highest good of the cosmos, by the way. So like if it's really important that we go through this thing, then we'll go through it still, because it might be giving us like direct instructions, experience, knowledge, wisdom for a thing that's ahead of us, and like we needed to learn that. So that's one thing. But like if it's not that, if it was just like a fucking pointless wound that's still costing us, or that's like a wound that should have been healed by now, but like we keep getting set back in the healing, or like the teachers that were supposed to come along the way fell out, along the way or whatever. So like there are things that might have happened. It's like for those instances, we ask for miracles, like for complete restoration, just like zoink, bring everything back to baseline as if it never even happened, like that kind of restoration. And to allow you to actually properly magnetize to the level that's designed for you, or that you're designed to be on. Okay, so what I mean by this is like, think about an instrument. It's like guitar strings, like there's like that perfect pitch and we want to be residing there. But like when shit happens, it like knocks your, like let's say it turns that little knob and then it like puts the guitar out of sync. Now it's like, like now it's not in that nice, good sound tune. So it's like wounding does that, like you get fucked over by somebody really like thoroughly. It makes that next relationship really hard, really hard. And it makes you like, there's just a whole lot of fucking things that come along with that. So thanks a lot to everybody out there, and also my apologies. We can pray from ourselves for miraculous healing for anybody that we hurt by being out of tune ourselves, because it's kind of just like this ripple effect. So anywho's, wow, what else was about that? So we can pray for that. And so like, it's one of those things for me when I was, kind of bouncing out of the lowest season of my life, and I landed in a pretty solid place. But I remember being like, this isn't the highest vibe that I'm really envisioning. And what's wild is I had the revelation. I'm like, well, yeah, that's because I'm not like there yet. I'm just not. Like, this is the accurate reflection of where I'm vibrating right now. And it's not all my fault, and it's not bad, and like, it's not a failure. It's just like, yeah, man, I'm still fucking healing. Like, I'm healing from an entire childhood of freaking severe narcissistic abuse that I thought was normal love. And then, like, of course, I magnetized to somebody that was different, but on the same spectrum there. Totally different kind, but the same, like, same outcome. And so to have to find that out while also parenting 2 children solo when I was promised that I would not be solo, and we discussed it pretty thoroughly with a letter to the baby, to the future baby that I'd written long before meeting this guy, So anyway, that's my vibe on that, as you can imagine. So it's like, yeah, my vibe, my like frequency that I'm flowing at right now is just not, it's still climbing. It's still climbing, the triggers happen, which then just kind of like sometimes before I even know it, like I don't even know sometimes what the triggers are going to be. You can't always foresee when it's going to happen. It just happens. And then it's like spiral, But what I'm hearing too is we can pray that. We can pray for that. We can ask. We can order up. We can ask extra. We can, heck, let's just order it up, because I feel like healing is the children's bread. Boom, there's the scripture reference for those who need it. Otherwise, this is kind of why I just love scripting and the freedom that came with manifestation without dogma. Is that the word? Dogma? Because it was just like, there wasn't any, it was just like, what does your, next level self desire? And it's funny because that's even biblical. It says he longs to give you the desires of your heart, but we have to like select what they are, decide, dream a little, think. We got to be thinking beyond what we're doing right now, because our thinking is producing the next 3D thing in the timeline. So if our thinking is always just the same without ever dreaming, envisioning, like fantasizing, and that's where it's like immediately I feel like that has gotten hijacked into this gross physical, like sexual thing, because we don't know how to dream for ourselves. So we're just like low level living at just like making ourselves feel good in the physical vessel in order to like deal with the monotony of this fucking place. When at the whole time we have this incredible mind that could literally like shapeshift this joint into something dreamy and incredible, and like we just got to get everybody on board to do that. You know what I mean? And you have to like be willing to feel uncomfortable while this new stuff is hitting your life, and be willing to like miss the old scene and to feel left out, to be willing to be kind of like the weirdy, because like it is weird for those people that don't know. And then I've come to find out it's not weird at all, because there's an entire population that is here. And the only ones that are so behind are these traditional schools of thought that refuse to like budge with the wild nature of the spirit. Wow. I'm going to leave this here. Be blessed, be well, be free.